He had been waiting for love so long that loneliness felt like a familiar roommate, quiet, predictable, and painfully loyal. Every night after the diner closed, Samuel sat in his parked car for a few minutes longer than necessary, watching couples laugh their way down Main Street, arms linked, lives moving forward. He wasn't bitter, just tired of praying and hearing nothing but his own breathing in return. At 42, Samuel had done everything right. He worked hard, showed up for family, kept his promises. After his fiancée died suddenly years ago, people told him time would heal him, that God had a plan. Time passed, but the plan stayed silent. Love never came back. That night, the rain came down hard, blurring the windshield and his thoughts. He turned the key, ready to drive home to an empty apartment, when he saw her. She stood under the flickering streetlight across from the diner, holding a child on one hip and a grocery bag torn at the bottom. Cans rolled onto the wet sidewalk, clanking like accusations. Cars splashed past without slowing. The woman froze, shoulders hunched, eyes wide, not from the rain, but from the realization that no one was going to help. Samuel felt that familiar tug inside his chest, the one he usually ignored. He told himself he was exhausted, that someone else would stop, that this wasn't his responsibility. But he remembered another night, another storm, another woman standing alone in a hospital hallway while the world kept spinning. He remembered how one stranger's quiet kindness had kept him from collapsing completely. Samuel opened the car door. "Ma'am," he called gently, jogging over. "Let me help you." She flinched at first, instinctively protective, then nodded. Together they gathered the cans, water soaking through Samuel's shoes. Up close, he saw how young she was, early 30s, maybe younger. Her face carried the exhaustion of someone who never truly rested. "Thank you," she said softly. "I'm Grace." "Samuel." He glanced at the child, wrapped in a thin blanket. "Cold night for little ones." Grace managed a weak smile. "This is Lily. She's tougher than she looks." Samuel hesitated, then said the words that surprised even him. "Can I buy you dinner?" The diner's still open. Grace's pride rose quickly, but hunger rose faster. After a moment, she nodded. Inside, warmth wrapped around them. Lily fell asleep almost instantly. Grace ate slowly, carefully, like she wasn't sure the food would last. Samuel didn't rush her. He didn't ask questions, not yet. For the first time in years, his loneliness loosened its grip. Not because love had arrived, but because kindness had found a place to land. He didn't know it then. But this wasn't the beginning of the love he was waiting for. It was the beginning of the love he was meant to give. They talked long after the plates were cleared. Grace's story came out in pieces, like she was afraid if she said it all at once, it would break her. Her husband had left when Lily was barely walking. Medical bills followed. Then rent doubled. Then the job disappeared. "I'm not asking for pity," she said quickly, eyes down. "I just need a chance to stand back up." Samuel nodded. He understood that need more than she knew. "Everyone does," he said. When the diner closed, Samuel didn't walk away. He couldn't. He offered them a ride. Then something more, a spare room in his apartment. Just until she got on her feet. Grace hesitated, fear and hope wrestling inside her. But Lily coughed softly in her sleep, and Grace's resolve crumbled. The first night was quiet. Too quiet. Grace lay awake, listening for danger that never came. Samuel slept on the couch, determined to make her feel safe, not indebted. Days turned into weeks. Samuel learned Lily's laugh could fill an entire room. Grace learned Samuel made terrible coffee but perfect pancakes. Slowly, the apartment felt alive again. Samuel helped with resumes, drove Grace to interviews, watched Lily when Grace worked part-time shifts. He never crossed lines, never asked for more. His love became an action, not a request. One evening, Samuel overheard Grace on the phone. "He doesn't want anything," she whispered. "He just helps." Those words pierced him. He realized something uncomfortable and holy at the same time. He wasn't loving her to be loved back. He was loving her because she needed it. Then the unexpected happened. Grace was offered a full-time job. A real one. Benefits included. She cried into Samuel's shoulder, gratitude pouring out in silent waves. "I'll move out as soon as I can," she said later, afraid of overstaying Grace. Samuel smiled, though his chest ached. "Take your time." That night, he prayed for the first time in years, not for love to arrive, but for strength to let go if that's what love required. Because somewhere along the way, he understood. Sometimes God doesn't send someone to heal you. Sometimes God sends you to heal someone else and heals you in the process.
The day Grace and Lily moved into their own small apartment, Samuel helped carry boxes up narrow stairs. The place was modest, but sunlight poured through the windows like a promise. Grace turned to him, eyes shining. "I couldn't have done this without you," Samuel swallowed. "You did more than you think," he said honestly. They hugged, longer than necessary, shorter than desired. Then Samuel walked away. Heart heavy but peaceful. Weeks passed. Silence returned to his apartment, but it felt different now. Less empty, more purposeful. Samuel volunteered more. He noticed people again. He loved without expectation. Then one Sunday afternoon, there was a knock at his door. Grace stood there, Lily holding her hand. Not desperate, not broken, just present. "I was afraid," Grace said. "Afraid that if I came back, it would mean I was weak. But then I realized something." She met his eyes. "I didn't just need help back then, I needed love. And you gave it without asking for anything." Samuel's breath caught. "I don't know what this is," Grace continued. "But I know I don't want to walk forward without you." For a long moment, Samuel said nothing. Then he smiled, the kind of smile that only comes after long waiting. Love hadn't arrived the way he expected. It arrived as service, as patience, as selflessness. And when it finally stayed, it wasn't because he demanded it, but because he earned it through kindness. God hadn't ignored his prayers. God had answered them by teaching him how to love first.